everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're taking a look at a brand new knife from Schrade. This is the Schrade SCHA9S. I am fortunately one of the first people to get a hold of this knife, so it's not available on the market. It will be out at the end of 2014 and into 2015. When I first deployed this knife and looked at it, I said this thing is going to be called the Shark. So it's got that kind of long nose out there. It's got the serrations that just reminded me of teeth. So I'm calling it the Shark. I'm also going to say that this is a gentleman's knife, meaning that it's very slick looking. It's got that steel gray thing. It's thin, and be a nice knife that just, you can carry around in your pocket, and it's not big and clunky. It's not something that's going to grab a lot of attention when it's in your pocket. And Schrade, as they've continued to develop over the years, they've noticed that some of their knives are quite thick, and people like the knives, but they want something a little bit smaller, so they've created this to fill in that niche. Let's talk through some of the specs here. You can see from end to end we're talking about 7 inches. Your blade length is just about 3 inches, and therefore your handle is going to be about 4 inches. It is partially serrated. Those serrations are kind of unique because they are very close, and just the design is a little bit different than some of the other Schrade knives and the serrations that they've put out there. This is an assisted opening knife. This opens with their M.A.G.I.C assisted opening system. It is a liner lock. You can see you have the safety here, so when it's red, it can be opened. Once it is opened, you can't lock that into place. So not until it's shut can you actually lock that, cover up the red, and then the knife is locked up. It does have this thumb plate, and that is ambidextrous, and I'll show you it also has the thumb actuator, which most people call a flipper. You can also see down here we have a very small lanyard hole if you want to put a lanyard on this knife as well. The handle is made of aluminum, and the steel for the blade is Aussate high carbon stainless steel. Now, just as a real quick comparison here, on the left we have the Schrade SCHA9S, and on the right we have the Schrade SCH501S. So the one on the right is not an assisted opening knife, but you're talking about ½ an inch in thickness there, and for the new 9S you're talking about a tiny bit over ¼ of an inch, so a significant difference as far as the thickness there, and that's going to make a difference as far as the sleekness when you carry it in your pocket, how noticeable it's going to be, and even if it feels clunky when it's in your pocket. Again, that's why I'm calling this a gentleman's knife. Let's talk about deployment now. This is your safety. You can see no red. There's no red dot there, so that means I am unable to deploy this in any fashion. Now when I push this back, you can see the little red dot. Red is dead. That now means I can deploy the knife using the finger actuator or the thumb plates here. First we'll do the finger actuator, and you can see that's what that looks like. I did give it a little flick of the wrist there, so let me show you without even flicking the wrist. And that locks out nice and solidly with your liner lock. I have had a bit more trouble with the thumb plates, and that's because where the cutout is, and probably a little bit having to do with the size of my hand, but just the setup here, it's a little bit harder to get your thumb in there to really get it into a position where you can flick it open. So that was flicked open, but now you can see this isn't locked in. So you really have to make sure it goes locked in, clicks at the end, and now that's locked in firmly. Push the liner lock to the side here, show you again with the finger actuator, and you can hear that lock in, and that's locked in. And then with the plates here again, or the plate, that one's locked in. Just a bit hard to do with the plate for me. If you do flick the plate and flick your wrist a little bit easier, but even on that one, doesn't exactly happen. Try it one more time here. Maybe. Yeah, that one's locked in. So overall, I would say if you're going to deploy it, use the finger actuator or the flipper here, and that's going to lock in place nicely. Not the same story when it comes to the plate here. Got to flick your wrist a little bit to get that to lock in. One other thing to note about the finger actuator is that if you use the plate, this may not disappear. If you use the finger actuator, it will slide down inside, and if you use the plate and want to get this out of the way, just push it down, and now it's much more streamlined. So there you have it, the Schrade SCHA9S, also known as the Shark, and once again, the gentleman's knife in my estimation. If you're looking for something that's kind of sleek, thin, streamlined, this might be a nice option for you. I will bring up my concern about the thumb plate and deployment with Schrade, see if they make any changes before this actually hits production. The time of this video right now is the middle of October, and it's not available yet, but at the end of 2014 and into 2015, you'll be able to pick one of these up. Thanks for checking out the video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Tactical Vids here on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check us out on Tumblr and Instagram as well. Take care.